Well, live via telephone is Joe the Plumber, also known as Joe Wurzelbacher. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, you got it right, Alan. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, even if it's via telephone. How's the weather out there in Ohio?
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's about 25 degrees and snowing.
Oof, you can keep that snow. So, you heard my opening 23 times. Your name was mentioned 23 times, and even before our show today, I was doing some checking on YouTube and everything like this just to see what people's outtake on you are. But I was astounded. 23 times. What do you feel about that?
Honestly, it sounds like an agenda to me, to be honest with you. I mean, a couple times, I'm not saying it would be okay, but a couple times, someone just sitting there, okay, I live in Ohio and somebody's got a database in front of them, they punch me in out of curiosity. I could understand that. I'm not saying I'd forgive it, but I can understand it. But, 23, 26 times, that's just a way too much.
Well, I think, and I'm not defending anyone, believe it or not, but I'm thinking from a strategic standpoint, they were bringing up your name to help their validity to the in touch with the general public. Would you agree, or?
Oh yeah, no. As far as McCain and Obama using my name, yeah, no, I definitely think they were just trying to show that they're out for the middle class, working American, and trying to relate. But it was honestly, hearing it from either one of them rang false in my ears. I just, you can't sit there and try to relate to the American people when you need elected. We need to see you out there working for us, all the time, not just when you need our attention to get reelected.
Oh, I definitely concur, because I was going to coin the phrase as Alan the archaeologist, but, that's just stretching it just a bit. Well, speaking of coining it, but how do you feel about your name being coined as Joe the Plumber?
Oh, well, that doesn't bother me at all. A lot of people think I'd get sick and tired of it, and I really haven't. I mean, that's what I am. That's my name, so it works well. It can be funny. It can, be used, depending on what context they're using it in, as they're trying to make it derogatory. But as far as overall, I don't think it's a big deal. My son gets a kick out of it, and all of his friends do. So, that's all right with me. Not a problem at all.
That's very admirable as well. Now, I understand we've been talking about the crap. Some people in Ohio have been digging up information illegally and against you. How do you feel about your privacy being, how shall we say, pirated?
Well, that's a big issue. Just for the simple fact, it's an abuse of government power, and that's a big thing with me. And that kind of ties in with my second point, is a lot of people have come up to me and, on, both sides of the ball and saying, hey, great question, but, I'll never do that because I don't want what happened to you to happen to me. And that scares me, because that's, that doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen in our country. It happens in other countries, when you question your elected officials. But America, we've always been able to question our official. That's one of our, God-given rights. It's a right that many of our, past military members have died to protect. And, quite frankly, that was taken away from me during this point. And I don't want anyone ever to feel that in the future. I want them to always be able to question. I mean, we should be able to question. And so that's a whole bigger point, a whole big can of worms. And just like I said, it's just not the right thing to do. It's not American.
Well, I agree. I mean, we can't have the laws if we can't even be protected by the laws that we have. And you've got a book coming out, and I really, really want to help promote that, because there's been a lot of buzz about that. Why don't you tell everyone what the name of the book is?
Well, it goes along with my moniker. It's Joe the Plumber, and it's called "Fighting for the American Dream" is the title of it. And essentially, what it comes down to is it does give an insight of what transpired throughout the 2008 election as far as my last 3 to 4 weeks involvement in it, and some of the ups and downs I went through in it. But it also talks about, what I look for in a president and what a lot of other Americans look for in a president, and different. We're looking for leaders, and unfortunately, we don't feel we have leaders anymore. We have a rock star that we vote into public office anymore. We don't have somebody that stands on their own 2 feet, stands on their morals, their values, and their principles, and holds to them. And so it talks a little bit about that, and just talks about basic morals and values that we've held dear in this country for years, and they seem to be getting chipped away on a constant basis by whatever small special interest group decides that their rights are being infringed upon.
I absolutely agree, because one of the things that I was looking at is a lot of the videos that were taken right out front of your doorstep in Ohio. So it's not like I heard one of the people asking you, I think it was from CBS, well, do these people call you? Do they ask you permission to use your name? And you just blatantly said, no. They've called and invited me to rallies, but they've just, and you said it best, they've taken your name and to help use and help them instead of helping the American people with the truth.
Well, exactly. They tried to prove some points of why each one's tax plan would benefit one group of people versus another, but they're not really coming up with any solutions. They're more or less just pointing the finger at each other or at each other's party. If they really wanted to solve the problem, truly, they would really consider the Fair Tax Act. I would challenge them to give me a logical reason why they don't do that. And if not a lot of people are familiar with the Fair Tax Act, it pretty much gets rid of the IRS. It gets rid of all taxes. It's a consumption tax, and a lot of major companies would actually move back from overseas back to America right away. That would stimulate our economy. It would get the Congress off our back as far as the American taxpayer, and there's just so many things that would help out now. So they're not really looking for solutions. They're just looking to point fingers. It's more posturing than anything these days.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because if they look good as a trophy, they feel that people will just go ahead and take them off the shelf and put them in their house instead of dealing with what is on the table, and that's our financial crisis that we're all going through.
Exactly. They're just like I said, they're more interested in trying to point fingers at one person or another as opposed to just clearing it. I've already belittled that point. Honestly, I just like to actually see them work. Instead of being on TV constantly talking in an interview, and I like to actually see them working on solving the problem for the American people.
Well, and that's what it's about. It's about we the people, not elect me. And you brought up a good point. I just want to ask, because we've only got a couple minutes left before the segment ends, and then we'll take a commercial break and have you back on. But now that the president-elect Barack Obama, do you really think he's going to? How much of an impact do you think he's going to have with the economy?
Honestly, I don't think he can have a whole lot of impact with the economy. From everything I've read of, the Great Depression back in 1929, and they tried a lot of different things. FDR, tried the WPA programs. He implemented welfare, and just he was grasping at straws, trying to make things right. And it really didn't get right until almost 25 years later. It pretty much had to take care of itself. There's a lot of similarities to what we have going on now as back then, and I honestly think they're grasping at straws still. Their knee-jerk reaction. We need to do this. Regardless of the consequences down the road. And again, I'm not a financial expert. This is just me looking at it and just having a common sense kind of view of things. And then, I also, listen to other economics majors out there, and it just, a lot of them say the bailout was a bad idea. A lot of them, American taxpayers are just fed up with the fact that people are coming to them with their hands out. We just bailed out City Financial again, recently, at the tune of, $300 billion.
Joe, we're going to take a commercial break. We've got about 5 seconds, but that's Joe the Plumber. We'll be right back after these messages, and thank you very much.